Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hearthstone Major at PAX East, presented by the One Nation of Gamers and brought to you by GEICO Gaming and Video Game Voters Network. My name is TJ, and that's admirable.
What was that movie?
I don't know. It came back to us, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. Do I speak? Do I dance? Jump into and Rain. Kolento, of course, player for Cloud9. Rain, one of the players who was part of the open signups. So it should be a good one. I believe this is the round of 64. We saw Kolento play yesterday. Do you remember his decks?
Indeed, I do. He's playing a pretty standard combo druid version, a copy of Sylvanas in there, a mid-range-ish paladin deck, as well as a tank-up warrior with a copy of Elise Starseeker in there. And we saw him only drop the warrior versus warrior game yesterday, where his opponent Radlac had a very top-heavy control warrior deck with Nefarious, Chromagus, Nefarian, Chromagus, and an Arc Thief for Fama in there. Did drop that game, just not able to really get the pressure going because the number of threats that Radlac had, but was able to close out the series 3-1 in that one. And his Warlock build is a I'm sorry, we may not have seen his Paladin because his Warlock build was kind of like a Reno Warlockish build with
that's right. Yeah, he had we didn't see the last 3 cards in his deck, but it seemed like a combo Reno. I don't quite remember. We saw a lot of matches yesterday. So the Paladin deck I don't think we've seen just yet, but I'm excited to see. Rain, on the other hand, these are the 4 decks that I like the best. Maybe with the Paladin interchanged with the Warrior. But Shaman, Warlock, and Druid are 3 decks that just can win. Just can win against anything. If they have a great draw, if that's a Zoo Warlock, an Aggro Shaman, and a mid-range Druid, if they have a good draw, it's just hard to stop them. And that's just sort of been the name of the game for the past couple months here with the current iteration of Hearthstone and with Conquest. I like Rain's choices as far as decks go, and we'll have to see. Kolento's a strong player.
Yeah, I mean, strong player indeed. Over $100,000 in cashes. Lifetime.
Wait, how much?
Over $100,000 in cashes.
$100,000?
I love how you're playing down the accomplishment of winning 6 figures playing cards.
No, that's a genuine excitement. No, that's insane. That's just his winnings alone, which is absolutely crazy. I think back to when I was slinging cards as a young boy, making $6 off my friends, thinking, wow, I am so cool for making money off playing cards. I never thought that one day people would be able to make 6 figures playing card games.
TJ took his spoils and he went straight to Taco Bell on the dollar menu and was like, yeah, I'm badass.
Taco Bell has a dollar menu.
I just assume they have a dollar. It's fast food. I assume they have a dollar menu. Every fast food has a dollar menu.
I believe it's a value menu.
Oh, you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. You're gonna split hairs here as TJ as you roll into this Control Warrior deck, which I'm sure he has a very different name for it than Control Warrior. Of course, splitting some more hairs and being semantics. Double Crackle, Lightning Bolt, Lava Burst, Knife Juggler. Pretty shaky hand here from Rain. I mean, typically this deck wants to get on board with some minions, start swinging away, and then follow up with the burn spells. You have all these at the start of the game. This is kind of the makings of what could be a weak Shaman hand. And Kolento has that nightmare answer that nobody playing an aggro deck wants to see. Turn 2 Fiery War Axe.
Yeah. And a hand like, an Oratron. Okay, this is an inclusion that I sort of liked a little bit. That's become popular a little bit recently. There's been a couple players that have been experimenting with this. Also wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see a Power Mace in this deck. Power Mace is a fantastic card. If you can get it with a mech on the board, it's so much value from that 3-mana weapon. So definitely have to see it as it goes on. And Oratron's also just good because it protects some of your early game minions. It protects your Tunnel Trogs. It protects your Knife Jugglers.
Rain is set up for disaster.
Yeah.
Draws a Doomhammer, and Kolento's holding Harrison Jones in his hand. I mean, how many Doomhammers does that guy really need for his museum?
I think he's just lying to us now. He's telling us that it belongs in a museum. He's not actually telling us that he's putting it in his own museum.
One day he's going to show up with a handful of 10 Doomhammers. That's when you know you're done. I'm just going to be Acolyte of Pain, try to turn this board into a liability from Rain. And second Lightning Bolt joins the hands. A lot of damage he's putting together.
Yeah. I believe the correct measurement for that amount of damage is a butt ton.
The legal term, of course.
Yes.
That's being used. You know, Kolento is going to overdraw for Harrison Jones, but I don't think he's going to mind that. Like, the bigger factor is that he's shutting off 12 damage from Rain and getting a 5-4 on board. You know, the fact that he's overdrawing, I don't think he really cares that much. He does a Bash 2 Shield Maidens in hand. All he needs to be able to do is just kind of not die, and eventually he wins by inevitability.
Yeah. So, Rain still has a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, to say the least.
And if Kolento Harrison Jones is here, then he still has to worry about... He's not developing anything. And he's just... He can't really even attack in. He's just going to overdraw so much. So much. I mean, he's got what he needs to win, I suppose. He's got a lot of armor gain. Okay, so how much is he going to overdraw? He's going to... That's 7 cards in his hand. He's going to overdraw 3, plus 1 on the next turn. I mean, I guess he can coin out.
Yeah. Again, the big point here is that he's just getting rid of the Doomhammer. Like, that's the purpose of the Harrison Jones.
Yeah.
You know, if he stays ahead in this game, the amount of burns that happen are really not going to be too relevant. All that matters is, can Rain kill him before Kolento kind of turns the corner? That's really the only concern that he has right now.
Mm-hmm. Now he has to think, do I want to trade the coin for a random card in my deck? And it looks like he says yes. He is going to trade the coin for a random card in his deck. And we'll see what that card is. We'll see if it's worth it. It's a Belcher, which could be good. 1 Doomhammer's out of the way. See if we can get through 2. 25 health remains for Kolento. Can Rain get through that? Let's count the damage that he has in his hand.
Minimum 17 with the burn.
Minimum 19.
It's minimum 17 with the burn. He gets 2 from the Argent.
Yeah, that was I was going to say minimum 19 with Argent Squire, with Argent Horse Rider, not Squire. It's an Argent Squire on a horse.
The horse deals 1 damage too.
Yeah,
it just collides with him, and the Argent Squire smacks him afterwards.
There should be a card called Horse. It's just a 1/1 charge.
It'd be a 1/0 charge.
It'd be a 1/0 charge. It'd be deal 1 damage.
0 mana 1/0 charge. You couple that with Hobgoblin.
All of a sudden you have... I don't even know.
Damn. Alright, it's going to overdraw Fiery War Axe. No concern to him. Again, the big one is just going to be, how does Kolento not die? And with 2 Shield Maidens and a Bash, I believe I know the answer to that.
He does want to make sure... he also might want to make sure that he fits in an armor up every turn. But I think at this point you can smack down the Shield Maiden.
It's going to be so ahead in development, too. Like, I mean, now he can just start punching.
Yeah.
Like, Shield Maiden, he's up to 25, has 11 damage sitting on board. Yeah, just start going face.
Yeah. Totem Golem is great, but in this situation, you really just want to burn, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even know what you want. Maybe a second Doomhammer. But at the moment, the maximum amount of damage he can do is 12 plus 8 is 20. Maybe you can try and draw Spell Power Totem, try and weave in these crackles while he can. That's a healing totem.
Yeah, kind of drew this hand in the reverse order he wanted. He would like to have the minions early and follow up with the bird spells afterwards. Just gonna have to just push face and hope that this works out. And he is going to run into a massive amount of armor from Kolento turn after turn.
What's he gonna roll? Oh, baby! Show me the crackles.
Yeah, I imagine this is going to be Shield Maiden attack into the Totem Golem, draw an extra card, and then execute on that, and then push 10 to face, and then have 15 damage on board afterwards with the Grom. So that'll be, just put it down to 19, and then 15 plus the Grom would set up for lethal that turn, as well as prevent about as much damage as he possibly could. He might choose to go for like a bash turn instead, just to try to shut this off, but he can set up a 2-turn lethal. But again, when you're seeing your opponent launch a lightning bolt in face, and then also crackle your face, and the crackle rolls 6, he may be a little bit more concerned with his life total than he is with ending the game. But
there's 7 mana available, so like the most damage he could do would be like double Lava Burst plus Lightning Bolt, which would be 13. He could also crackle for 6, Lava Burst, Lightning Bolt, which would be 14.
Yep. Either way, Rain needs 22 damage this turn, and he is under a ton of pressure. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 is the most damage he can deal this turn, and it's looking like it's going to lock things up. If he has to launch a burn spell at one of these minions, he is not going to win. Mm-hmm. So Taunt Totem could keep him alive.
Yeah.
Extra point of health maybe from the Finley afterwards.
Finley get an armor of his own.
There's a Taunt Totem. He also has lethal. Oh, I'm sorry, if he draws a Fiery War Axe, he'd have lethal, but it looks like I think one got burned from the Harrison.
Mm-hmm. So did a Death Spite.
Yep. So no lethal this turn, I don't think so. If he uses Slam, 15, 18. Yeah, 1 damage off lethal, it looks like, this turn, but still plenty of ways to defend himself.
I still just don't think he's going to have enough here.
Man, that's my thought exactly. If Kolento draws a weapon, he also has lethal. Oh, I'm sorry, if he draws a Fiery War Axe, he'd have lethal, but it looks like I think one got burned from the Harrison.
Mm-hmm. So did a Death Spite.
Yep. So no lethal this turn, I don't think so. If he uses Slam, 15, 18. Yeah, 1 damage off lethal, it looks like, this turn, but still plenty of ways to defend himself.
What now?
Yeah. Sludge Belcher, Bash. Plenty of options.
So shut off the hero power there. Bash is going to set up to 19, and there's no way Rain's getting through this.
100% no way.
It's just nothing's happening here. Shield Maiden's just punching away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to do it. Rain is going to drop game number 1 to Kolento. This feels like a good one to get out of the way, too. I mean, this matchup's always kind of scary. Like, if they land a Doomhammer and you don't have Harrison Jones as the Control Warrior player, oftentimes you find that that card dealing 16 damage over the course of 4 turns is usually a little bit too much to handle. But timely Harrison Jones. The burns don't matter. All that mattered was preventing the damage. That's going to be the nail in the coffee right there. Try to crackle this Harrison Jones. Doing everything he can to try to stay alive. He's not there, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you need from Grom is just 1.
Yeah.
If Grom was a 1-8 charge, Kolento would still kill him here.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. Easy game.
All right, well, after what seemed like a last 3 turns that lasted a lifetime, Kolento is going to take the victory, and Tank Up Warrior is going to take its win, which means Kolento has Druid and Paladin remaining, and still haven't seen the Paladin deck. Yesterday it was banned, I do believe, if we recall correctly, his series versus Radlac. Rain still has to find win with that Shaman, has his own Paladin, and of course a Warlock deck.
Yeah, still looking all right. If that Shaman deck can beat the Paladin, I think it's really going to be Rain's major opportunity here. I mean, that deck is just so much work versus Paladin if it doesn't have a terrible draw. Then they'll have Paladin and Warlock to fight against that afterwards. I still think it's a little bit in Kolento's favor, even despite, from the get-go, I think it's a little bit in Kolento's favor here, but just from the matchups. So Rain got his work cut out for him. It is going to be Zoo Warlock with a Leroy Jenkins in there, so a little bit more burst option available to him. Kolento's got one of those very scary kinds of opening hands for Druid.
Innervate Keeper of the Grove and Wrath. Ooh. Lots of ways to fight on the board early on for Kolento. That's what you want to see going up against this matchup.
Rain does kind of have some of the cards that match up very well versus Druid. Voidwalkers do a really good job of kind of protecting your abusive sergeants to make sure that they can connect. Redraws the Iron Begal, though. That is not one you want to see in your hand versus Druid.
No. Throwing away a card in your mulligan and getting it back right away. Harrison Jones, though, not that great of a card in this matchup. No. Unless he plays a Blingtron.
Innervate Keeper likely to be off the menu for Kolento on turn 3 as well. So is just going to Wrath. Maybe that Nerubian Egg can entice him into that. Rain, I think, would, even though that's not a very strong play for him, maybe a little bit enticing. But since he picked up that Dark Peddler, I'm guessing he's got another play instead of the Nerubian Egg.
Yeah. He does have an activator, though, but what are you going to activate? What are you going to kill with just an Abusive Sergeant on your Nerubian Egg? It doesn't match up against a Paladin Shredder. It's a little bit tougher. You want to try and find that Power Overwhelming, but he doesn't find a Power Overwhelming with the Dark Peddler. Does find a Mortal Coil, however.
Yeah, not a lot of action going on. I mean, this is the kind of Zeus art that doesn't really punish Druid that hard. If you have a really good unchecked early board, it's a tough time. But here, Kolento's he's got so many good answers. Harrison Jones just going to come down. Likely to see Abusive Sergeant, I think, to trade into that to prevent that from getting too much value. But we'll have options available as well. 2 Nerubian Eggs now. This hand is just so slow.
Sometimes you can afford to have a slow hand if the Druid also has a slow hand, but one activator for these eggs, and it is most likely going to be used this turn. Iron Begal, which is not going to find a good target. Boardwalker, which, yeah, very slow. I don't know. It's not where you want to be.
It's tough stuff. I mean, there's just no way to use the Nerubian Egg. They're just kind of dead cards in his hand right now. Yeah, he's going to trade up. Nerubian Egg is likely, I think, to find a silence here from Kolento. And he's going to coin out that Voidwalker, try to protect that Abusive Sergeant as long as he can. He's got to find some damage here, and his hand is just more utility.
Savage Roar, though, is not that good of a pickup for Kolento at the moment. He's sort of got this dead zone of plays between turn 5 and turn 7. He does have Keeper the Grove, which is a flexible play for next turn. But then he's got to find a play for that turn 6 if he wants to, pave the way for that Ancient of Lore with a decent-sized board. Because if you miss a turn against Zoo, they can punish you pretty heavily. And Range is, though, just not finding great stuff here. Knife Juggler's good, but it is really vulnerable. You sort of want to get immediate value out of that card when you play it on the board against decks that will have a lot of great removal for it. He might feel more comfortable playing it now that he's seen already a Wrath and a Keeper of the Grove.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see him go for that Knife Juggler. Looks like he's going to lead with Mortal Coil here. Don't mind this either. This is, I think, likely to be Nerubian Egg afterwards to try to get a setup, but Dark Peddler is going to fill out his curve very nicely.
Depends if he picks up a 1-drop that's not too situational. Oh,
gosh. Some brutal options.
Yeah. None of those are good. I mean, this is what I'd probably take Blood Imp.
I don't know. I think I'm taking
just have something on the board.
Corruption doesn't seem that bad right now. I mean, you're going to have to find a way to fight back, and your turns are slacking.
Yeah.
Does get a good Blood Imp roll on that, though. And Kolento draws pretty dead again. So, Keeper of the Grove, that's going to be the second one for him. Rain may be able to find a window of opportunity here.
Yeah, and now both Keepers are gone, so this opens up a lot of opportunities for him.
Yeah, this may be the start of it. I imagine that Nerubian Egg's finding its way to the board this turn. But with a hand so light, too, I mean, what are the considerations for life tapping right now?
His board's so weak. And if he life taps, he's got to pick up something. I think he just wants to get on the board this turn. I feel like he can't really pass up that type of opportunity.
Looking for that juggle. Nails it.
He gets it, but does he trade in?
I think you do trade in. It's going to put a power on your Blood Imp. It's going to put an extra power on your Knife Juggler, and it also gives you better targets for your Blood Imp at this point.
Yeah. That's true. Doesn't really bring them out of range of much, but that health could add up and might make your trades a little bit better as the game goes on.
Ooh, swipe. That's going to clear the board.
Yeah. Talked about that dead zone. He needed a play. He needed to find that play, and that's going to clear the board, open up a great spot for him to be able to play the Ancient of Lord next turn to sort of refill his hand. And Rain needs some help ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, to say the least. Well, a little bit of hope maybe, but I think this is going to be a life tap turn. He needs to get multiple threats on board. Ironbeak Owl is just so bad right now. Oh, goodness.
The old tap Ironbeak Owl turn 6 play.
The old Nerubian Egg go.
Yeah.
On turn 6. Yep, that's going to let Kolento draw 2 cards, and he just pulled way ahead in this match.
Picks up some good stuff, got some minions. Mind Control Tech is a great card to sort of play in a pinch. Kolento's only taken 2 points of damage, so he's not even under pressure. Even a Power Overwhelming wouldn't even be able to trade in. He'd have to use Power Overwhelming plus Defender of Argus, which is, if he picks up the PO, he could still do.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, he's going to be Imp King Boss. Looks like Defender of Argus is going to be matched with this.
Yeah.
Maybe a window of opportunity for damage here.
Mm-hmm.
But this might open up some plays for Kolento. Does have the option to actually activate Mind Control Tech by damaging his opponent's Imp King Boss for 1.
Yeah. Is that worth it, though? He could attack into the Imp King Boss, Wrath for 1, and just pop down a Piloted Shredder.
So the big story here is that he's got options for all of his plays, and that's something that you never want Kolento to have as options. Ideally, you'd like him to, he's got 1 play to make and 1 play only. When you give this guy a range of opportunities, he's going to make the most of it.
Yeah. I could even, I could Wrath for 3 on the Defender of Argus if he wants to get rid of that. But he decides to cycle and picks up the Druid of the Claw.
Yeah,
that's going to protect his Ancient of War.
And Sea Giant comes in hand. That is actually a liability at the moment. Kolento is hanging on to Big Game Hunter.
It's a trap!
Yeah, you're right, Admiral Akbar. It definitely is a trap right now. That's something that's really funny about this matchup is Big Game Hunter is dead for the most part. And right when Zoo needs a big minion, they have Sea Giant's Doctor Booms. And the Big Game Hunter can just swing it right back around when that happens. So he's going to Ironbeak Owl to silence this off. Maybe looking to pick up some trades here, but I can guarantee that one's going to face. Yeah, trades in the 5-2. And Kolento, oh my gosh. This is brutal.
Yeah.
I don't know if... I don't think Rain can win this game from this point. Kolento's at 26. Yeah. He's killing the Sea Giant. Getting a Piloted Shredder.
He's going to even pop the egg because everything on the board trades into the Nerubian relatively well. And this way he can kill the Ironbeak Owl to protect his Big Game Hunter too. So that was sort of Rain's last line of defense. And also now he's free to combo next turn, which he has in his hand. This game is all Kolento's.
Yeah. Lotheb is going to shut off combo for a turn, but it's not going to provide Rain the presence he needs to be able to win this game. Implosion might be able to get something done. I mean, we're talking like Doomsayer from the Piloted Shredder desperate right now, though.
Yeah. He can Implosion and abuse the Sergeant and just leave the Piloted Shredder on the board.
So many possibilities.
He's already seen a swipe. He's not the decombo in that case, so he can hold on to Lothar for another turn to sort of protect himself. Maybe try and draw into something a little bit more impactful in the next turn.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a strong play here from Rain. He's just been so far behind the entire game. He's going to try to make the most of this. Ooh. Oh, gosh, even 2 on the Implosion.
When it rains, it pours.
Is this a trade? Yep, fear of combo is real at the moment, but that's going to allow Kolento to just keep his lead. This is going to be a coast to victory for Kolento at the moment. Doesn't even choose to cast the Wild Growth, just going to Hero Power and then abuse Sergeant 4 going upstairs. Set up that Force Nature Saboteur next turn. It's going to be met with Loatheb once again, but I think he's just suffering too much damage at this point.
Yeah. Haunted Creeper.
The perfect turn 10 draw.
Yeah. It's exactly what I want on turn 10. Give me those Haunted Creepers.
He should take those Haunted Creepers out. It's a liability draw right now.
His new deck just becomes 5 drops and above. Mogor the Ogre worked out pretty well for Jolly earlier.
The old disrupt 5 hounds from attacking correctly.
Yeah.
Wow, this is pure desperation. I don't blame him for this one either. Yeah, I'm just going to scoop this one up. Rain fights as hard as he can, but Kolento answers every single minion in a row. Pulls out to a smooth 2-0 victory. Very clean wins from Kolento thus far this series. Paladin's going to have 3 tries to close this one out.
Looking pretty good. And Kolento had a really tough series yesterday, so this one's looking like it's going in a different direction. We still haven't seen the Paladin deck, as we mentioned. Not sure what it is yet. I'm guessing I don't know. Kolento, I've seen him play all sorts of things. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Murloc Paladin. He does have Control Warrior, and he does have Arena Warlock, so it would fit sort of that control style. Also, wouldn't be surprised to see Midrange Paladin, because I know Kolento's been playing a lot of that. Secret Paladin would probably surprise me the most.
Yeah, I would say so. That's an ooze in the opening hand. So,
Midrange.
Yeah, this is something a little bit slower, also with the equality in hand as well. I mean, I guess there's a small chance this is like a take on a Murloc Paladin with the ooze so far. But the one thing I can discount from this is Secret Paladin. There's no way the Secret Paladin deck is running Sludge Belcher, Equality, and Ooze in the same build. And that's going to be Murlocs. Yep, he's known for playing this deck very well. I mean, this is a deck he's put a lot of practice in. Kolento loves these control/combo style decks and pilots them very well. That is a smork shot from Rain, though.
Get him.
Hold on, boys. Kolento already has an answer to Doomhammer, which is in Rain's hand at the moment, too.
Yeah. And one of the things that Aggro Shaman struggle with the most is just a Doomsayer, the tempo Doomsayer on turn 2.
I have felt that pain over and over again. So every time I play against Freeze Mage, it's like I feel like they suddenly have 17 copies of Doomsayer in their deck. And 9 copies of Ice Barrier, 4 copies of Ice Block, and then the rest of it, I don't even know where they get the rest of the cards from, but afterwards, just all Frost Bolts and Ice Lances.
Yeah, he plays a Doomsayer on turn 3. You're like, wow, I thought he already played 6 Doomsayers.
Tunnel Trog Crackle, if he rolls 5 or more on the Crackle, he will preserve his board presence. Is that ever the kind of risk that Rain is willing to take?
So you're telling me it's a 50-50?
Indeed.
In true Hearthstone fashion, can he do it? 50% chance to win, 50% chance to lose.
50% chance to have a good board state and a 50% chance to lose.
Nope, really that's not dramatic enough.
Is it going to go for it? Finds the second copy of Doomhammer. It's actually might be a little bit valuable to him, as well as a Totem Golem. Kolento's just going to take his time to draw cards, and Rain's got his work cut out for him. Landing the Doomsayer is such a critical play versus the aggro decks, because it buys you so much extra time. You know, normally you're going to be struggling if you don't have an early board sweep, because they just build a presence, and it kind of gets overwhelming very quickly. But this a very, very clean demonstration of why it's such an important card.
Nice and clean.
Let me think.
Kolento debating on whether or not to coin out a Bluegill Warrior here to challenge the board.
Yay.
Yay.
We got 2 in favor. Kolento, that's 2-1 at least. Chat. Yeah, it is.
Move quickly.
There we go.
The voting system does work sometimes.
Democracy in Hearthstone.
Democracy Stone. Heroes of Votecraft.
All right, well, Rain doesn't want to overload here because he wants to make sure that he plays his Doomhammer on turn 5. So just a Tunnel Trog seems to be the play here, and that's exactly what he's going to go for. And you know what? Just smack him in the face and throw out that 6th Doomsayer.
Is Doomsayer really the play here?
I don't know.
You're giving it up to Doomhammer here if you do that.
Yeah, but then you're
so bad.
Yeah, then you're healing 7 health.
That's exactly what he's going to do. If he sees a Doomhammer, he does have a very clean response with the ooze here, and so I imagine it's exactly what's going to happen. Rain could have alternate plans here, but keep preserving a Tunnel Trog here doesn't really feel like it's that strong.
You're missing 7 damage to preserve a Tunnel Trog, and it dies.
It's just going to die to board. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just equip that sucker and start smacking him in the face.
Shloop.
Hit Uther in his space helmet.
It's the sound a Doomhammer makes when it hits.
Doop.
Shloop. God, we are good at casting.
We've hit the 4-hour mark.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. This is like the halfway point. Not even. I said I start to get loopy at 6 hours.
Hang on, boys. Yep, going for face. I like it from Rain. It's a beneficial trade for him, I think, and is going to meet the demise, though. Even a Solemn Vigil picked up. Kolento has got such a good turn in front of him.
He's going to think about it, though. He's going to rub his chin a little bit.
I think he's debating a tempo Aldor Peacekeeper here. Yep.
Wants to apply the pressure. Yeah. Drawing cards is great, but Kolento's pretty much got what he needs to win.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got Anti-Kill Bot. He's already got Lay on Hands. He does have a second Aldor as a backup, so I actually like this tempo play here. One of the ways I think he could lose this game is if he doesn't play the tempo Aldor and Rain has development this turn into a second Doomhammer. Like, that could be a situation that ends up being disastrous. So investing this Aldor onto the board to make sure that you can continue to check minions, I think, gives him a much better chance to win.
Yeah. And Rain does have development this turn. He's got Whirling Zap-O-Matic. He's got Totem Golem. And with the board state right now, Kolento wouldn't be able to kill both of those minions. He could also go with Totem Golem, and that would sort of be the same amount of power. But it would also be the situation where he could clear one but couldn't clear both. Also, if he plays double Totem Golem, he still has 5 mana going into the next turn, so he can still equip that second Doomhammer. Either way. If he plays Whirling Zap-O-Matic, he has an extra mana to be able to play Lightning Bolt. But I guess he's going to decide that that's not going to be what he wants to do. He's going to try and force the trade from both minions here.
7 mana would have made this turn look a lot better.
Yeah.
6 mana.
He could still choose over Champion, clean off the board, and Solemn Vigil. But he goes down to 19. He doesn't develop anything this turn.
I think this damage is going to be pushed for face here. He might just be in the business of taking 3 here. Yep, like the play. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, he does have a lot of heal, I suppose.
Yeah, this is the Doomhammer. Let's go. I mean, this is your opportunity, I think, to get back into this game. Kolento has played an Acidic Swamp Ooze. He's at 19. You could drop him to 12 this turn. And if he's got heals, maybe you draw some burn spells to get out of it. I mean, Rockbiter's looking like a mighty good top deck at the moment. But the minions, I don't think are going to get it done right here. You need this Doomhammer to start hitting. And Kolento's already showed the face pressure at this point. So if you wait too long, you're not going to have time to get the damage from this Doomhammer.
He does have Steady Shot, too.
Maybe there's some considerations for attacking the Acidic Swamp Ooze here. You're just, hitting him for 3 every single turn. Maybe some considerations for trading the full board down, leaving yourself a 3-1 with the Doomhammer behind.
But how many turns does he think this game is going to last? How many more turns do you think this game is going to last? Maybe he feels like he can afford to take that damage again over a couple turns. I think he needs to push damage while he can here. And yeah, goes all face. So Rain has a guaranteed
Woo!
6, guaranteed 9, guaranteed 12 damage next turn. If from his point of view, that's if Sludge Belcher's not played, and this is going to be a really powerful turn for Kolento.
There's 3 more there. I wonder if he's ever swinging with this True Silver here. And then the other question is Sludge Belcher or Anti-Keelbot? You know, if you play Sludge Belcher and your opponent has like Earthshock Rockbiter, you're just dead. If you just play the Anti-Keelbot and you go 20 and your opponent has Rockbiter and a couple burn spells, you could also very easily die in that situation. So this is not the easiest turn for Kolento right here. He's got to think about all the possibilities. And so the Sludge Belcher, I think, is the most likely one to succeed because Earthshock, even in a lot of situations, it's been trimmed from decks. And he's seen Annoyatron in Rain's build. So I think that's helping him discount the possibility of Earthshock by a little bit here. Oh,
Ooh.
not a good draw.
All right. So he can crackle here on the Sludge Belcher and go for a board clear.
The Crackle's got to land for 5, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he could still, even if it lands for 3, he can attack the Sludge Belcher twice and still Lightning Bolt and develop a Whirling Zap-O-Matic with the leftover mana. So even if Crackle doesn't roll high, then he could still clear off the board. He just misses 2 damage to the face and has to take an extra 3.
He's going to go with Lightning Bolt here instead. So Lightning Bolt's going to tell me he wants to get both the Whirling Zap-O-Matics online and potentially the Abusive Sergeant. Did he just Hero Power instead? So Whirling Zap-O-Matic, and I think you go with the second one here. I mean, it's risky, but if your opponent has anything to disrupt this, you're likely just to lose anyway. So Hero Power is what he's going to take. And hope Colento's got nothing behind, but we can see he's got plenty of it left over. It looks like Eldor Peacekeeper Anti-Keelbot's going to be the play here. Too short of lethal this turn.
I think going up to 20 is a pretty safe bet.
Let me think.
It's scary when you're facing down that Doomhammer, though. I mean, Rockbiter represents 10 damage from just that 1 mana.
But I feel like there was opportunities to use the Rockbiter, like last turn. He could have pretty cleanly taken out the Sludge Belcher with the Rockbiter plus Lightning Bolt plus 5 more damage to face. It would have been a lot of damage to push. Pretty efficient damage as well. So I think you can effectively rule it out. But yeah, Kolento does have what he needs to win, so I feel like just putting as much stuff on the board and healing up is going to be the right way to go.
Yeah, I'm just going to muster for battle and trade instead of the Aldor. Wants to ensure that he has ways to kill next turn. Going 1 on the board certainly is a way to do that. This is it for Rain. He needs something big. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, 18 is the max he can deal.
That's the max he can deal. That's if both Crackles roll for 6. He can try and survive on board if he crackles the anti-Keelbot and keeps pushing. And Rain we saw him do sort of something similar in game number 1, so he's going to go for it. He's just going to hope that Kolento just has no more damage and no more healing.
If you have to crackle a minion here, I think you've lost the game. Like, and that's something I think he's thinking about as well, is oftentimes as soon as Shaman has made its initial push, it runs out of board presence, and it's having to use spells defensively rather than to invest into the board state. That's typically where their damage falls off.
Well, he does have Steady Shot, so he can push 6 more damage this turn, even after crackling this minion. And he does have charges left from the Doomhammer, so he can go face. If he draws into Rockbiter, then he does have lethal potential next turn in his head if he doesn't die, but we can see that he's going to die.
Yeah, but he needs to crackle a minion here if he wants to stay alive. If not, it's going to be 4 damage from hand for Kolento and then 4 damage on board. That's going to wrap it up. Kolento 3-0 in this series. Making it look easy.
Making it look easy, and playing 3 control decks, which is the bold call, but he pilots them well. And that's sort of just been Kolento's style since the beginning, you know? And Rain, unfortunately, has been eliminated from the tournament. Valiant effort from him, but Kolento is a tough opponent to go up against. in the round of 64. And yeah, excited to see Kolento move on. Really strong play overall.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing some of the control decks struggle at times, but Kolento just continues to perform with him time and time again. You know, I personally am not too big a fan of the control decks. I've just found that they don't, I have winning rates with them, but I don't win as much as with them as I would do when I just play the aggressive builds. But Kolento continues to put up results time and again.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's going to do it for that match. Next up is going to be Amaz taking on Ultima. We saw a funny match yesterday between Amaz and his arch nemesis, Sam Stock. And that was a close one. Amaz almost fell down, but managed to come back and win that series 3-2. We'll see how Ultima is going to hold up against Amaz. But keep in mind, guys, we're still doing the CyberPower Gamer Extreme 1000 PC giveaway on the One Nation of Gamers website. So head over to geico.onog.gg, or if you're too lazy to type that into your browser, just scroll wheel down a tiny bit and click one of the banners below the stream. It's a sick PC. It'll be right on the front of the website. While you're there, you can also sign up if you're a U.S. resident to play in the next One Nation of Gamers 2016 Circuit Open, which is going to be on April 30th. It's a $1,000 prize pool open. It's one of 10 that's taking place throughout the year. And if you win that, you lead into a feature tournament with a $6,000 prize pool. And it all culminates at the $25,000 grand finals at PAX Prime at the end of the year. So head to the website for more information on that if you'd like to participate during the break. But don't go anywhere, guys. More Hearthstone Major presented by One Nation of Gamers will continue right after this break.